It was almost midnight at JFK Airport, but the place pulsed with noise and motion, rolling suitcases, distant boarding announcements, and the weary shuffling of travelers moving from one gate to another. In the middle of this vast, indifferent crowd stood a young woman who didn't move. Her name was Lena Harper, and in her trembling arms, wrapped in a faded baby blanket, slept her 6-month-old son, Micah. Her shoes were soaked from earlier rain, her coat too thin for the air-conditioned terminal, and her hands were cold, not just from the chill, but from fear. She'd taken a bold leap, left her small town in Ohio with nothing but a job interview in Chicago and a hopeful heart. She had saved for weeks to afford the cheapest ticket, packed peanut butter crackers for herself, formula for Micah, and brought nothing else. There was no backup plan. There was no one waiting for her. But as fate would have it, her connecting flight had been canceled without warning. The airline offered no voucher. The lady at the desk was kind, but there were no more flights until morning. Her phone had died hours ago. The power bank she borrowed from a stranger was faulty. The airport Wi-Fi wouldn't connect. And just like that, she was stuck in one of the biggest airports in the country, holding a baby and completely alone. Micah whimpered. She shifted him gently, kissing his soft forehead, whispering, "It's okay, sweetheart. Mommy's got you." But she didn't. Not really. She tried not to cry. She paced. She stood in line at an information desk for 20 minutes only to be told there was no free help. She sat in a corner on the cold floor, trying to stay awake. People passed by. No one really looked. Until someone did. From the glass of a quiet VIP lounge above the main terminal, Jonathan Hale noticed her. He hadn't meant to. He wasn't looking for anything but a late coffee and the boarding call for his private flight to Chicago. But out of the corner of his eye, he saw something that pulled him in. A young woman, frightened, exhausted, and clinging to a baby as though the child was the only thing anchoring her to the earth. Jonathan Hale was the CEO of Hale Dynamics, a logistics empire worth billions. He had everything: power, planes, homes in 3 countries. But what he didn't have anymore was perspective. Until tonight. He stood up. Against every rule of detachment he'd built over the years, he walked out of the lounge, down the escalator, and toward the girl who didn't see him coming. "Miss," he said gently. Lena turned, startled. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you," he said, raising his hands. "You just look like you could use some help." She looked at him through wide, guarded eyes. She was too tired to speak politely. "I missed my flight," she said simply. "And I don't have anywhere to go. But I'm not begging. I'm not asking for anything." Her voice cracked. Micah stirred. "I believe you," Jonathan said softly. "Where are you headed?" "Chicago," she whispered. "For a job. I don't even know if it's real anymore." There was silence. Jonathan looked at her, really looked. She was young, maybe early 20s. She didn't wear desperation like a weapon. She wore it like truth. And her baby. God, the baby looked just like his brother's son, back when things were still okay. "I have a jet leaving for Chicago in 40 minutes, Jonathan said quietly. "It's just me. Come with us. No expectations. Just come." She blinked, stunned. "What? You're serious?" He nodded. "Very." She hesitated. The world hadn't been kind. Kindness had always come with a price. "Why would you do this?" she asked. His voice faltered. "Because when I was a kid, my mom was in an airport once. Crying. No money. And no one helped her. I watched her fall apart for years because of that one night." Lena swallowed hard. Micah cooed in her arms, eyes fluttering open for a second before drifting back to sleep. She whispered, "Okay." Inside the jet, Lena sat on a cream leather seat, unsure if she was awake. The warmth made her shoulders drop. She hadn't felt truly warm in weeks. A flight attendant offered her chamomile tea and wrapped a soft blanket around her. Micah, nestled in her arms, slept like he hadn't in days. Jonathan didn't hover. He simply sat nearby, glancing at his laptop occasionally, but mostly, watching. When she finally looked at him, he gently asked, "What happened?" And she told him. About the pregnancy. About being abandoned. About the odd message from a startup in Chicago saying they liked her resume, wanted to meet. And how she clung to it like a rope in a storm. She didn't cry. Not then. She had cried all she could back in the airport bathroom stall. Jonathan listened. Every word. And when she was done, he said something she never expected. "You're not weak. You're the bravest person I've seen in years." They landed in Chicago to the orange glow of morning. Lena was dazed. "I don't even know what to say," she murmured. You don't have to say anything, Jonathan said, offering her a business card. There's a guest house on our campus. Stay there. Meet my assistant. See if we can find you something, not charity. Work. A real chance. She stared. Why are you helping me? He looked at her, serious now. Because we build billion-dollar companies to change lives, Lena. Not to ignore them.